All right, we're going to go ahead and get started today. My name again is Marisa Limon Garza. I work with the Hope Border Institute, and I'm excited to be with you virtually today, talking all about our upcoming TeachIn. It's the TeachIn 2019 Jornada por la Justicia in October, just a mere days away, and couldn't be more thrilled to be welcoming a large group of people from across the country, as well as here locally from our borderland community. So today's webinar is really all about the teach-in. Hopefully your questions will be answered, and we'll be able to share information that's pertinent to what it is exactly that we mean by the TeachIn 2019 Jornada por la Justicia. So our program today, we're going to cover what exactly is the teach-in, why is now an important moment to have this gathering, who actually is presenting this, what should you expect? There is a component of public action, so what does that mean and what does that look like? Tips on how you can prepare, and then we'll have the opportunity to answer any questions that you may have. If you have questions throughout the webinar, feel free to use the chat function. I am able to view those questions. We will be presenting this webinar on our YouTube channel for Hope Border, as well as on our Facebook page. If you haven't already liked our Facebook page, our Instagram, or our Twitter, please do so. It's a great way to stay connected to what we're doing and to be involved in the program. So let's jump in. What exactly is the TeachIn 2019 Jornada por la Justicia? This is an actual event that we host every year, but this is going to be a gathering specifically of leaders, of faith leaders, specifically Catholic, specifically Latinx. And what that means, the term Latinx is designed to be inclusive. So this includes folks who maybe consider themselves Hispanic, Mexican American, Puerto Rican, Venezuelan, any combination, Latino, Latina, Chicano, all of these terms that people have and people adopt are included. And so we want to foreground that in our work. This gathering is not only of parish folks, but really people that are interested in social justice, that have a heart and a calling for this work. That can be scholars, theologians, advocates, organizers, and allies. We're really intending to deepen our knowledge of social justice. This is a tool in our toolkit that we need to continually sharpen. It's not something that you just one day know all there is to know. And the beauty of social justice and Catholic social teaching in particular is it has new implications every day on our lived reality. And so it's important to reflect, to process, to learn, and to connect. We're also very interested in building movements of people, building coalitions and building communities. So it's not just one person out front leading the charge, but it's really about having a whole group of people interconnected and interwoven in a true coalition to be able to advance some of these social justice needs and ideals. And then together we're going to take public action. And what that means is coming together and showcasing for the world what it is that we're doing, what it is we stand for, what it is that we want, and how we can further social justice and human rights in our borderlands community, but also across the country. So this is going to take place Friday, October 11th through Sunday, October 13th. It's really a half day on Friday, half day Sunday, full day Saturday. It's going to be here at a wonderful venue that we're so thrilled to be able to partner with the Region 19 Head Start Center. They have done a tremendous job by making their space, which is a beautiful conference space, available to us. There is a $15 registration fee for the 3 days, and you can register for that at hopeborder.org/Jornada por la Justicia. Hopeborder.org is going to be your main site for any information that you need, along with our Facebook and other social channels. So why now? What's the need at this current moment for this kind of gathering? So the Hope Border Institute, which is a social justice and human rights independent Catholic nonprofit organization based out of El Paso, convenes this every year. And so we like to bring together people in our local parishes to really discern and think about social justice, Catholic social teaching, and to put that to work. So this is something that we've done for a while now. We're committed specifically to Catholic social teaching and want to make sure that people in our community have the tools and the knowledge to be able to advocate and fight for human dignity, for the social good for all of our communities and families. This is also an important moment in time. We are partnering so proudly and humbly with a newly formed organization, a group of people called the Latinx Catholic Leadership Coalition. And this is a national coalition made up of some amazing individuals and organizations. And they're really interested in looking at what does it mean to think about Latinx leadership and ministry in the Catholic Church at this unique moment in time. We really do believe that we have an awesome responsibility as people that work in the social justice space to make sure that we are able to continue and do the efforts that are required to answer to so much uncertainty, to so much injustice in our world. And it's important when so much abuse is called out against people that are on the margins, that we take that responsibility in that time. August 3rd, 2019 was obviously when we had a vicious attack on our community here in El Paso. 22 innocent people, their lives were lost in an act of hatred and violence that was furthered by a lot of folks that are in this administration, and this community is still grieving. This was an assault that we take personally, that is reflected on who we are and what we do. And it's imperative that we reflect, we grieve, and we take action. And so this teach-in is an opportunity for us to do just that, and to be able to partner and to move forward and to think critically about how and why we do this. So a little bit about who's presenting this actual teach-in. The Hope Order Institute, as I mentioned, is bringing the perspective of Catholic social teaching here to the borderlands. We do a tremendous amount of work here locally that focuses on research and policy, leadership development, and ultimately trying to build solidarity across the borderlands. So our geographic footprint really is Las Cruces, New Mexico, it's El Paso, Texas, and it's Ciudad Juarez. So through those three geographic areas, we're able to really be relatively connected, deeply committed to the borderlands reality and to showcasing that around the world. Then we're joined by our partners, this newly formed coalition. So this is a group of educators, ministers, students, organizers. These are organizations, universities, all different kinds of groups. And they too are committed to social justice and really thinking about planning that long-term vision for justice and dignity. So when you come to the teach-in, you will certainly meet these folks. Many of you may be actually on the call, and so we're very happy to have you with us. We're excited to be able to connect and to build stronger coalition with these folks, and we invite everyone to learn more about the amazing work they're doing and what they're going to be doing here in the future. So what should you expect? So the teach-in is going to bring together a diverse audience. If you've come to our teach-ins previously, you know that it's a lot of folks from parishes, people that are committed in the diocese to learning more about social justice and all of this work. But this year, with this coalition partnership that we have, we really are bringing in a national audience. So El Pasoans, be ready. We are welcoming a lot of folks from places as far away as New York, Chicago, the Bay Area, Washington, D.C., Boston, Massachusetts. All of these folks are very interested in meeting with you, fronterizos, learning from you and understanding what the lived reality here is on the borderland, and how they can be allies in the fight for justice, and how our work and realities here impact their work, their realities back at home. So please be ready to see some different faces and people maybe that we haven't always seen in the social justice circles. And hopefully it'll be an opportunity to widen our reach and to be able to build broader networks. The teachings that are going to happen are going to be a very intentional blend of both theory and practical resources. So you will come and you'll be able to really deepen your knowledge from a theoretical framework, from a theological framework, from an anti-racist framework, but you'll also be able to really take some things back immediately to your home community, whether that's a school, a church, a neighborhood, and put some of these tools to use. So we've really thought about how we can make that relevant for you. There will be 4 plenary sessions with speakers that are of an amazing caliber that really understand the work that we're doing, along with 40 different workshops. These workshops are focusing on some very core themes. Again, we have at Hope have been looking at life kind of before the August 3rd Matanza and after the August 3rd Matanza. And so that means that the workshops include themes like identity, anti-racism, local issues that are grounded here in the borderlands, Catholicism, and immigration. So nothing too major and too different, just wanted to make sure that we were intentional about our perspective and point of view from those workshops. Here in the borderlands, we speak a mix of languages. So you'll have folks that speak completely only in English, folks that speak completely only in Spanish, and folks that speak Spanglish, and a mix, and everything in between. So while sessions will be labeled as en español, they will be completely delivered in Spanish. Know that if you attend an English language session, that there may be some communication that drips in there that's in Spanish, and vice versa. But know that all of the plenaries will be interpreted simultaneously into Spanish, and we will have communication, auditory support for folks that want to engage that way, as well as workshops that will be exclusively in Spanish so they can focus on that experience. There will also be intentional moments of prayer and reflection for people to be able to connect and integrate what they're learning, seeing, and experiencing. We will have a public action. I'll go more into that in depth in a little bit, but that action is the manifestation of our faith in the public square, and it's a very important role that we have to play. We'll have a Feria de la Justicia, and what that means is that we will have a workshops, well, actually not workshops so much as a fair, a gathering of nonprofit social justice providers whom you can learn about here in the Borderland area. And so we have some amazing partners that'll be able to join us, and they'll be the ones providing information at tables and resources to make sure that you know what they have to offer. We'll also have meals included, so your $15 isn't just $15 out there to put on this event, but we'll have 2 breakfasts, Mexi-continental breakfasts we're calling them, snacks, refreshments, a lunch and a dinner, all included in that $15 registration fee, as well as a reusable tote bag. And our Hope Tiendita will be available. Our Tiendita, if you haven't visited hopeborder.org and checked out some of our beautiful items that are for sale, we have some fabulous Todos Somos Migrantes t-shirts, some beautiful tote bags, and some other resources like our comic book all about migrant stories, as well as some of our other resources. They're all available there. They will be available in real time during the teach-in. So bring, if you have saved up a few extra dollars, this will be the time. We will be accepting credit cards as well as cash. You should know that in El Paso, cash is often preferred. So a lot of places will prefer cash sometimes. So it's something to keep in mind. So further, what to expect on Friday, this is our direct schedule. All of this is available on our website, hopeborder.org/Jornada por la Justicia. While our registration begins at 2 p.m. on Friday, the actual activities don't begin until 5:30. So if you are working a full day on Friday, hopefully there's no need for you to get off early or too early for you to be able to join us. We want to make sure that our local folks are able to engage in a meaningful way. After our opening prayer and blessing, we'll have our very first plenary session. We are thrilled to have Monsignor Arturo Bañuelas presenting as part of this session, along with Dr. Lara from New Mexico State University. There are some powerhouses when it comes to this topic about what it means to undermine white supremacy through solidarity. That's a big topic to lead off right off the bat for our teach-in, but it's something strong and bold that we felt was necessary at this moment in time to be able to really reflect what's going on here in the borderland community, as well as what we're dealing with on the national level. Then afterwards, we're gonna have a beautiful celebración, a dinner, networking, so you can get to know other people that are involved in this work, who's gonna be participating in the teach-in, and build that community and coalition. Saturday morning is when the bulk of the action is going to be taking all day Saturday. So on that morning, we begin with a light Mexi-continental breakfast. Our Feria de la Justicia resource fair will open up After a morning prayer, we will have the next plenary session, which is all about how Latinx theological narratives really impact political power. And so this is more of an intersection of theology and organizing political power. And these are some amazing speakers as well. Excited that Dr. Naomi de Anda, who's the president of ACTUS, the Academy of Catholic Hispanic Theologians of the United States, and our new friend, Michael Okinchich Cruz from the Coalition for Spiritual and Public Leadership in Chicago will be joining us, as well as a new partner, Mr. Jorge Olivares from New York, originally from Eagle Pass, but is a host of a Sirius XM talk show called Affirmative Reaction. And so I think this will be a very robust dialogue and conversation, and I think we'll have a lot to learn. We'll then break up into our workshops. We have 2 workshops before the midday break. And then we'll have another plenary session. Then we'll have another plenary session after the break. That's called From the Margins to the Center, talking about Latinx power and immigration reform, another very important topic. We're bringing an amazing facilitator, Father John Pedigo from Northern California, as well as our own Dylan Corbett, the executive director of the Hope Porter Institute, and a friend and champion, Montserrat Garibay, who's with the labor movement. She's actually the secretary-treasurer of the Texas AFL-CIO. After that, we'll have some more lunch and networking, our last round of workshops. If you hadn't visited the Feria by then, it would be important to do so. We'll be preparing for the public action, and then we're gonna go mobilize. Sunday is, again, beginning with our light Mexi-continental breakfast. We'll have our 4th and final plenary session. We're excited to bring together some amazing individuals. These are still kind of in the works, so we can't fully divulge who's going to be on this panel. But we know that Dr. Luis Fraga, who's the director of the Institute for Latino Studies at the University of Notre Dame, is going to be a key panelist. This plenary session is titled The Latinx Leadership for the Present Moment. And so it's an incredibly important topic. And we have some amazing people lined up. We're just not ready to publicly announce them just yet. And then we have time to really integrate everything that we've learned and experienced in a reflection session. Bishop Mark Seitz from the Diocese of El Paso will then have a mass, and he'll be making a very special announcement. You'll have to tune in to learn about. And then we'll have our closing activities. So a little bit more about the public action. So this, again, is where we make our faith public, where we take and make everything concrete in a way that intersects the public square and our faith practice. So here in this community, we felt like when we wanted to engage in a public action, last year's TeachIn included a march and an interfaith prayer service that was a profound sense of community and action. It was a beautiful moment at St. Patrick's Cathedral. And so we wanted to think critically about what it means to engage in the public sphere as people of faith. And being situated here in the Frontera, there's no better way than to think about that than by engaging in a binational blessing at an international port of entry. Many of our ports of entry sadly have become a bit of a nexus of the challenges, the oppressions, the hatred that we see mandated from Washington, D.C. And so it's time for fronterizos, friends, and allies to take back these bridges in a very real way through the power of our faith. And so our action, those that participate will learn more at the TeachIn in greater detail, but it is a binational blessing. So people in Juarez, people in El Paso will be participating together to offer this blessing of this port. These ports are oftentimes where we see policies enacted that are troubling, problematic, that are systems of these oppressive apparatuses. And so we know that these places are where all of these actions are taking place. And so we want to make sure that we bless those ports and that we make sure that we are recognized and we are taking them back. So in order to do this, it's ideal but not completely necessary. We recommend folks that have a valid US passport to bring it with them. We will be making a joyful noise. So if you are gifted with the gift of song, or if you are a musician, this is your opportunity to bring that along with you and help us make a joyful noise, both in English and Spanish, and then in the languages that go beyond those. This will be a powerful procession of faith that is going to be Latinx in essence and in flavor, as well as Catholic. So if you think about patron saints of churches and religious processions, maybe during the Easter season or during Lent, this is the kind of activity that we're really thinking. And so we not only want the blessing to be a very sacred moment, but we also want it to be full of joy, and we want it to be rich in color and vibrant and life-giving. And so this is an opportunity to engage folks in that way. So you can start preparing now. There's lots of things that can be happening even though we're still a few days away. So here's just a sample checklist. Bring a friend. It's going to be an experience that you're not going to want to experience alone. There's going to be so much opportunity for engagement, for dialogue. I guarantee that this will be the kind of experience that you'll talk about for days, weeks, and months afterward. So it's an opportunity to bring someone along. Share that you're coming to join the TeachIn on social media on any platforms that you engage in. We ask that you use the hashtag Jornada por la Justicia. If you haven't already made travel accommodations and you're visiting us from out of town, now is the time to do that. We have a list of options on our website. There's also a participant toolkit that details a lot of this information so that you have it. If you haven't confirmed lodging, again, if you're visiting from out of town, there are some options on the website, very cost-effective hotel options. If you have more needs, I'll have contact information at the end of the presentation so you can engage with us and learn about those opportunities. There has been quite a few questions around ground transportation, and so we will have some shuttles available free of charge for you to be able to engage with, especially if you're flying into the airport, and then we're looking at transportation for the public action. But we can't guarantee all ground transportation will be covered. So you may need to consider renting a car, maybe doubling up with a few folks in carpooling, especially if you're a local person and you're coming from a parish. Perhaps there's a group of you, your social justice ministry or RICO ministry, whatever it may be, you can come together and carpool, may make more efficient use of the resources that we have. And then we also have Uber and Lyft options, taxis as well in the city of El Paso that are relatively affordable that will help get you where you need to be. This is a learning activity, so dress comfortably. We don't want people to feel uncomfortable or formal in any way. We will, especially if you participate in the public action, be walking. The conference center is a bit large, and so you want to make sure that you have shoes that feel comfortable, that you're not completely exhausted by the end of the day. The temperatures during this time are going to be around the 80s during the day and the 60s at night. So it's a wonderful time actually to be in the desert Southwest. If you are a musician, pack your instrument, bring your music, be ready to join us. We're still looking for sponsorships for students and for other groups. We've had many students interested, and by students I mean undergraduate students primarily from a variety of colleges and universities across the country. We've confirmed that we'll have a group from St. John's University, from Fordham, for Villanova, from Boston College, from the Harvard Divinity School, as well as the University of Notre Dame. So these students have so much desire to be connected and to be part of this experience, but they need a little bit of a help when it comes to transportation, lodging, and some other expenses, even the registration fee. So if you feel so called, please get in touch with Hope and we'll be able to make sure that your contribution goes towards those students who want to make sure they can participate. And then with any other kind of big teach-in, gathering, event, life event, this is the time to start thinking and reflecting and beginning to pray thoughtfully about how you will be used during the teach-in. So it's a very important moment to allow us to reflect and to think and to prepare ourselves. And so we can do that through active reflection and through prayer before we actually get to the teach-in. So I want to offer any time for questions at this time. I don't see too many questions for us right now. There may be questions that come up later. So I want to make sure you have our contact information. The best way for folks to reach us regarding the teach-in is at our email, info@hopeborder.org. If you'd like to give us a call, you'll get connected with our wonderful colleague, Ilka, at area code 915-872-8400, extension 200, and she will be able to help field your call. We want to make sure people's questions get answered and that we get them all the information they need. If you're with a parish and you've heard about this training and are wanting to get involved, if you have questions, Ilka is your person. If you're part of Aquí Estamos, if you've been involved, make sure that you connect with Diego. We have lots of resources and people on our team that are ready to help you. The website again, hopeborder.org, Jornada por la Justicia is your go-to site. It has all of the information detailed there in case we missed anything on this planning webinar. We want to make sure you have everything that you need. And again, we want to make sure we connect with people. There's going to be quite a number of folks, sadly, who are not going to be able to join us in person. And so we want to make sure they're still being able to follow all of the action and the work that you're doing. So if you'll use that hashtag Jornada por la Justicia on your social media channels, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or TikTok, or wherever else you engage with content online, please make sure you use that hashtag. This is going to be an incredibly powerful experience. It's an honor and a blessing to be able to work with each of you to make this a reality. Know that the Hope Border Institute and the Latinx Catholic Leadership Coalition welcome you with open arms. We're excited to have you here in the Sun City on the Frontera, and we look forward to engaging with you in meaningful ways to fight for social justice, to fight for human rights, and to put our faith into action. This video, if you're not tuned in to the live version, is going to be available on both YouTube on our Hope Border Institute channel, and it will also be shared on Facebook. So there are places where if people in your group want to be able to get this kind of detailed information, they can just reach out to us through there and connect with us at this time. We're happy and honored to be able to work with them. Si hay preguntas en español, todo el equipo de Hope es completamente bilingüe, entonces llámanos, háblanos y podemos hablar en español. So we have all those options available in Spanish as well. So if you have folks that have specific concerns, they're welcome to call Hope or email, and there will be someone who will be able to speak with them in Spanish and answer all of their questions. Unless there are any other questions from the chat feature, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Again, we're thrilled to have everybody. The teach-in is just days and weeks away, so we want to make sure you're ready, eager to participate. hopeborder.org/Jornada por la Justicia is your main site to get all the information you need. If you have questions, email us at info@hopeborder.org or call us at 915-872-8400, extension 200. Use that hashtag Jornada por la Justicia, and we will see you in October. Thank you, everybody.